Hi everyone, this is Louisa, the Eat Right Chef. Today, I actually don't feel like making a video because of the state of my health. But at the same time, I feel I have the urge to make this as a public interest announcement. Well, I'm not thinking that straight because I've been having this flu for 2 weeks and it has weakened me a lot. I've been having a terrible cough with phlegm and feeling congested, having runny nose, everything you can think of except for muscle pain, although I have this feeling of heaviness in my chest and this fatigue which makes me lose energy to carry out some of the most basic things in everyday life, including cooking a proper meal for myself. Now that is pretty unheard of. And there are only a handful of these incidences, maybe one really terrible flu about 10 years ago, which I contracted here in New York. And the other one was just about 2 months ago. And sadly, this is the 4th time I have contracted a flu or cold virus this season. And I feel that I'm sick of being sick. Now, usually you might expect as a health coach 2 things: that I will be talking about remedies for a cold or a flu. But I'm not going to talk about that. And then another thing is that you may expect that as a health coach, especially somebody who emphasizes so much on preventative medicine and a healthy immune system, that I should not be getting so sick. Well, so based on that assumption, I want to talk about 2 things today. One is the fact that the flu vaccine has a high rate of failure, and the other is that the importance of wearing a mask. Actually, one more thing that is actually the most relevant to what I've been talking about, which is the blood type diet. I'm not going to talk about the blood type, but I'm going to talk about the secretor status and how that affects disease susceptibility and the certain people being more prone to infectious diseases. So the first thing about the flu shot, vaccine failures are documented, and there are actually a lot of scientific studies that talk about that. And also the fact that people who have taken vaccines actually pass their virus to both the vaccinated and unvaccinated people, whether they have symptoms or not. So this is called virus shedding. And what happened to me was that at my part-time work, there were 2 colleagues who respectively had 2 vaccines. One had a flu shot, and she exhibited symptoms right after. Another had a pneumonia vaccine just because her doctor told her to, after a regular physical checkup, and without questioning she accepted that, and she was seen as, you know, having symptoms of it right after as well. Neither of them were aware of the fact that they could be shedding the virus and passing it on to others, and they kept on going to work, and that's when I got contracted. And this vaccine shedding is actually heightens the risk of virus being spread and leading to outbreak of virus infections. So it's a vicious cycle, and obviously at my workplace the bug has been going around in many circles many times. And so coming from Hong Kong, I suggested to my boss that I go to work with a mask in order to, first, not to pass any potential, you know, virus infection to others, and the second, to protect myself. It's as simple as that. A common sense act for personal hygiene and public hygiene. Something that the Hong Kong people have learned since the SARS outbreak several years ago. But apparently the culture here in the United States is that when you wear a mask, it is considered that you are very contagious, you're in a very dangerous, well, you know, you're posing danger to the public. Whereas people don't think that wearing a mask can protect themselves from getting infected. Of course, it's not foolproof. You know, like my boss said, well, it won't protect you 100%. Well, I'm not asking for 100%, but at least I could minimize the risk of being infected again and again and again. But no, the answer is no. And I can't allow that to continue because it's affecting my other more important work. So I quit my job. This is very sad and pathetic, and I just hope that my video will raise the awareness for this issue, both in terms of vaccine failure, viral shedding, and public hygiene. So my next main topic is about what your blood type has to do with getting infected by contagious diseases and other health issues. Well, the blood type itself, okay, so for each blood type, A, B, B, and O, each type is further divided into secretors and non-secretors. About 80% of each blood type belongs to the secretors, which means that your blood type antigens are present in your bodily secretions, like your saliva, your tears, your sweat, and everything. Okay, and the non-secretors, which are the minority of each blood type, making up about 20% of the blood type population, they don't have this blood type antigen in their secretions, which means that they will have less protection against certain environmental threats like virus and allergens, as well as lectins, which are a kind of protein in food. Okay, so in other words, yes, being a non-secretor puts the people who belong to this group at a disadvantage in terms of health. Now, I happen to be a non-secretor. That means my body is more sensitive than the majority of the population in terms of disease susceptibility and getting sick. And being aware of that is very, very important, because I actually get a different list of food that are that will work for me than the food that will work for the secretors of the same blood type. So there's the nuance is very important, and it helps to minimize my exposure to harmful lectins in the food. But when it comes to the environment, okay, so there are all these other factors that I cannot control, like the vaccine failures, viral shedding, and people not being aware of personal and public hygiene. And I'm exposed to that, when I go out, unless I'm a hermit and stay at home every day. Yeah, so actually having this knowledge helps me to feel better about myself, because they're like my boss, ex-boss, and many other people, including my mother, who does not get sick as easily as I do in terms of infectious diseases. They always ridicule me for being so weak and hold that against me as if there is something wrong with me. But knowing that, yes, it is in my, it's the genetics, I'm born this way. It just helps me to feel better, and it can, just get rid of that guilt associated with being sick. So this is an interesting topic which I don't think most people are aware of, unless you are a follower of Dr. Peter D'Adamo, who has talked about this issue quite a lot. Yeah, so I hope this sheds some light in whatever way that in terms of getting sick, and I'm trying to do my best to get well. So well, that's it. I will see you in the next episode. Okay, take care and try not to get sick. But if you get sick more easily than others, maybe there's a reason, and maybe it has to do with your secretor status. I'm gonna include 2 links in my in the description of this video. One is an article about vaccine failure and viral shedding, and the other is about secretor status and how you can find out whether you are a secretor or not. Okay, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.